Hello, my name is Andrew, and this is my game narrative analysis on Sleeping Dogs, an action-adventure game released by Square Enix on August 14, 2012 for PC. The story follows Wei Shen, a Chinese-American undercover cop currently tasked with infiltrating the Sun On Yi, one of the most notorious triad organizations in Hong Kong. So I feel the best way to start this off is with the various factions and gangs involved in the game. Among the various triad organizations, the story focuses on the Sun On Yi and 18K, two opposing gangs. Within the Sun On Yi are smaller gangs slash factions such as the Water Street Gang and Jade Gang. In terms of characters, we have our protagonist Wei Shen, originally born in Hong Kong and raised as a delinquent on the streets. He moves to America where he becomes a very resourceful and capable police officer. He soon finds himself back in Hong Kong, tasked with infiltrating the Sun On Yi. Some other characters worth mentioning are the two main officer figures in the game alongside Wei. First, there's Thomas Pendrew, Wei's superior, and Raymond Mack, Wei's partner in the operation. Next, we have Wei's closest companions during his time undercover as a gang member, Winston Chu, a Red Pole, which essentially means a senior member or leader of a faction. And on the other hand, there's Jackie Ma, who is actually Wei's childhood friend and the one that gets Wei into the gang. Finally, we have the antagonist, which goes by the alias Big Smiley, and he is also another Red Pole, just like Winston. The story starts out in a harbor where we see our protagonist dealing in some type of sketchy deal. Not only does he get arrested here, but this is where we discover his true identity as an undercover cop. Taking him into custody is part of the plan to get him into contact with his old childhood friend Jackie Ma, a member of the Water Street Gang. From there, Jackie introduces Wei to the Red Pole Winston Chu, despite the difficulties Wei confronts to win over their trust. Over time, he is able to demonstrate his loyalty and capabilities. Eventually, Wei develops a family-like bond with Winston and the rest of the gang members. This even provided Wei an opportunity to meet the chairman slash leader of the Sun On Yi, something absolutely unheard of for Wei's current status. Amidst Wei's undercover routine, the wedding for Winston and his fiancée takes place. Everything was going great until a rival gang, 18K, crashes the wedding. Both Winston and his fiancée lose their life during the attack. While Wei was helpless in saving them, he manages to get the chairman to safety. With Winston's death, Wei takes his place as the new Red Pole. With the chairman currently unable to lead the Sun On Yi, discussion begins of electing a new chairman. It is apparent that Big Smiley is aiming for the position and is the worst person to take over. A variety of events precede this. Wei allies with Red Pole Jiang in order to secure the chairman spot for someone more suitable. Meanwhile, Wei receives news that the chairman has officially passed away, creating an uproar in the Sun On Yi, as he is also tasked with one final job in his undercover work, which, after completing, Pendrew tries to close down the investigation. Wei now refuses to back up from the case because he can't leave Big Smiley to take over the Sun On Yi. After various altercations with Pendrew, the 18K, and the onslaught of a civil war started by Big Smiley, Jackie meets an unfortunate end, and Wei not only has to witness this gruesome fate, but gets kidnapped. As he wakes up, he finds himself captured and tortured by one of Lee's men. Wei manages to escape, defeat all those who confront him, and even tracks down Lee himself. During their battle, Lee reveals how Pendrew sold Wei out, and is the reason why Jackie was killed. Wei finally comes out victorious in the fight against Lee. After everything, Raymond congratulates Wei as the case finally comes to a close. Unfortunately, Pendrew is now promoted and unable to be touched. The following day, Wei finds a mysterious package addressed to him as Officer Wei from the newly promoted chairman, Jiang. Inside the package is footage of Pendrew killing the chairman at the hospital, even revealing how Pendrew and the chairman were cutting deals in favor of each other. Wei manages to use this evidence to bring Pendrew to justice. The story ends with Jiang and other high-ranking Sun On Yi observing Wei secretly. Jiang declares that Wei be left alone, as he has proved his loyalty to her, one way or another. For the strongest element in this game's narrative, I personally feel has to be Wei's character development, or rather, how the story depicts the inner struggle he experiences during his undercover work. Every time he argues about being pulled from the case, he justifies his attachment to the gang with the results he is able to produce for the police. His actions versus his words keep the viewer unsure of which side he is truly on, but we can see the mental toll it begins to take on him.
You want the chairman? I report to him now. You want the Red Poles? I'm one of them.
That's what worries me, Wei. You're one of them.
As for the unsuccessful element of the story, I feel it had to be the main antagonist's actions once he learned of Wei's true identity. This was such a great twist in my opinion, but the direction things went directly after did not make complete sense. When Big Smile Lee learns that Wei is a cop, he could have exposed him in front of the other Red Poles and used this situation to his advantage to win the election. Wei would either be under suspicion or eliminated, meaning he would no longer have an impact on the vote, and if anyone continues to support him, they would automatically be labeled as a potential traitor. Yet Lee decides to keep this information to himself and go after him discreetly. I would say that the highlight has to be the revenge that Wei dishes out in the final moments of the story. There are a lot of satisfying moments in this game's narrative, but this particular one outshines the others. Not only was Pendrew a corrupted cop, murdered the chairman, exposed Wei's identity, leading to immense hardship, including the death of Jackie. With so many ways to exact revenge, Wei chooses a way that is incredibly clever and fitting for Pendrew's end.
You ready for life in prison?
What?
Because all your old buddies are gonna be waiting for you. I made sure they found out what you did to Uncle Po.
That's a fucking death sentence.
I know.
Where you can't. I won't last a day in there.
That's the plan.
As for lessons, I feel the first one is character development. Not even necessarily about Wei specifically, but other characters had depth to them that was able to shine through the storytelling. Jackie began the story as a low-level gangster who enjoyed running with the powerful crowd, especially alongside Wei. Yet as time went on, he becomes more humanized and considers pursuing a different life path. This all leads up to the point that we grew attached to him, and sadly the same point that he meets his end.
I don't know. I almost bought it today, man. Real. I think I'm just gonna go take a walk or something.
2 is setting up a plot twist. Personally, the plot twist involving Pendrew was shocking yet not super impactful. I feel stories either go about plot twist in 2 different ways. It is either a callback on a detail from early on in the story while glancing over it, while the other is keeping the detail right under the viewer's nose the entire time until the final reveal. This game sort of does both in a weird way, to the point where the reveal didn't feel like it hit as hard as it could have.
How does it feel, Pig? To know that your boss sold you out?
And 3, the optimal ending. The way the story ends leaves a good amount of closure for the characters in the story. The Triads discover Wei is an undercover cop, but decides to leave him alone due to his loyal work. Wei is done with the case, but he is definitely still torn between a cop and a gangster. The story is left in a way where if a sequel happened, there's a lot of room for the story being able to continue and picked up. Without a sequel though, the ending is still satisfying with no loose ends or real questions.
Strange to say it after all that's happened, but Hong Kong kind of feels like home.
Yeah. But which Hong Kong, officer?
And for summation, although this may sound strange, the largest reason I chose this game was that I actually never played this game myself. A long while back I stumbled upon a walkthrough of this game and the game had me completely captivated. It really felt like I was watching a movie back then, so much so that it stuck with me until this day and warranted an analysis on its narrative. Thank you for watching.